Hello, and welcome to another Star Trek What If theory, where this What If theory is one that I thought was going to be a lot easier to do. And so the What If theory is, what if Commander Riker decided to take the position on the hood during the Best of Both Worlds? I'm pretty sure I'll have titled it better, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So yeah, this is just a what if theory that I was thinking of the last time I watched through the Best of Both Worlds, and initially I thought it was just going to be, you know, the he would die, during the Battle of Wolf 359 on the USS Melbourne, um, and I didn't really think too much into it. But when I decided to actually finally film this, um, I thought to myself, now hang on, what about Shelby's plan and all this stuff? And the more I thought about it, the longer it took for me to actually think of what logically makes sense for this. And so after having a good sit down and a think thonk about it, rewatching certain clips from the Best of Both Worlds, I think I've come up with a definitive answer for this what if theory. So not sure how long this is going to be. Obviously, you could tell by the time code. But let's get cracking into this what if theory. So, the what if theory basically happens, as I said, during the Best of Both Worlds parts 1 and 2. And part 1, in large part, plays the exact same until before um, the hood has to leave. And this happens when Picard says to Riker, "What the hell are you still doing here? I heard they offered you a captain position on the Melbourne." And so then, of course, we cut to Riker having a talk with Deanna, asking why hasn't he given up the chair. And this is where the timeline changes. And that is through the talking with Deanna, Riker decides that, I think I'm ready for the captain's chair. I think I shouldn't just keep turning down these captain's positions. That I should take it, and I will take the Melbourne. It's not the Enterprise, but it's a stepping stone to further my career because he's intimidated by Shelby, who is exactly like he was in the first two seasons of The Next Generation, but obviously by this point he had mellowed out and he wasn't as brash as he was when he was a lot younger, to continue to climb up the ranks. And so he goes to JP and he's like, I accept the position of captain on the USS Melbourne. They have a they throw a going away party for Riker, and he departs and he goes to Captain rendezvous with the Melbourne. He goes on. He meets his first officer, whoever the first officer was, and he gets situated on the ship, and they go about on their first mission before they get called back as one of the ships to be there for the Battle of Wolf 359. So now we are going to jump back to the Enterprise, and again, it's going to play out exactly like it did in the episode, just minus Riker. So the Borg, they're trying to take Picard. They go into the nebula, and instead of Riker being there listening to the talk between Shelby, Data, Will, and Geordi and Worf, it's as I said, it's missing Will. So she brings the idea of the saucer separation to Picard, and he's like, I don't think that would be the right case. I think we should go with the deflector idea. And so he gets Geordi and Will to work on that. And so then again, it plays up to the point where Picard is taken. And so again, part one ends exactly how it does, just this time with Shelby taking command, because Shelby's the new first officer. And so again, as I said, episode one ends. The deflector dish fails because Picard knew of it and was able to use the Borg to prevent that from happening. And so, because they need to power down, the Borg cube goes to Wolf 359, And that is where William T. Riker meets his end. He dies. As what is to be expected for the Wolf 359, it happens exactly how it does. Um, the Borg cube decimates the 39 out of the 40 ships. The 40th ship is, as we know, we don't know what happened to it. Assuming that the Borg took it into the cube. That's my personal fan theory about it. And so eventually Shelby does the uses the saucer separation tactic against the cube, and they rescue Picard. He goes. Free him from the collective, and then Shelby stays on as the new XO on the Enterprise. So now we're going to fast forward to season 6 for the episode Second Chances. You know, with Riker dead, they had the mourning period for it. Picard feels very, very guilty over it, for being responsible for the death of one of his best friends. And so, uh, Deanna has also gone through a big mourning period of losing Will, since they were so close, and eventually became husband and wife, as we know in the prime timeline. And so when the Enterprise is over, and Nervala 4, I probably said that wrong, that's where they meet the transporter clone of William T. Riker. And so when the away team of Shelby and whoever else, because I haven't rewatched the episode, literally just to see when it actually takes place, to see if this episode takes place after Best of Both Worlds or before. I literally have Fandom Memory Alpha pulled up here just to get the name of the planet. So yeah, they see William T. Riker here, but they're all shocked because they assumed he was dead, and so then he explains it. And so they surmise that whilst the Will that they knew successfully beamed up to the ship that he was on, this version of Will stayed behind on the planet for nearly a decade, and so they then have to inform him of this version of William T. Riker, the Lieutenant Riker, what happened to Captain Riker, and so they do that. Deanna is not sure how to feel about this because, again, she's already gone through the past 2 years of mourning the loss of Captain Riker, and now she's seeing someone who's literally the spitting image of him, which it is him, and so it's very odd. And this version of Riker learning that besides being found now, he's been classified as dead for the past 2 years because he was there at the Battle of Wolf 359. And so he's wrestling then with his mortality. And of course, the whatever happens in that episode happens. Again, it's been ages since I watched it. I probably should have rewatched it for this to realize what was going to happen. But eventually, this version of William T. Riker decides to continue on as William T. Riker instead of becoming Thomas Riker. And so he continues on in Starfleet as Lieutenant Riker. But I'm gonna say he doesn't do it on the Enterprise. He gets stationed elsewhere, but then eventually circles back to being on the Enterprise, except not for long, because I still believe that this version of Will Riker would, of course, join the Maquis like he did in the Prime timeline, and then eventually ends up getting arrested and put into the Cardassian labor camp, which then he got out of, but he would obviously not rejoin Starfleet. And that's where I think I'm going to leave this what if theory. So let me know what you thought about this what if theory in the comments down below. Like I said, I've been spending the past couple of days thinking and theorizing, because initially I thought it was just going to be the Borg destroys the Enterprise, destroys the ships of the Battle Wolf 359, and assimilates the entire quadrant. But then again, the more I thought about it and the more I remembered of the episode, that changed, and so I had to think of what logically makes sense. And I think this is what logically makes sense. So again, let me know what you thought of this what if theory in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I shall see you all on the Friday upload, which I believe might be classic Doctor Who. I'm not 100% sure. Probably is. My classic Doctor Who review of Robot, if I've gotten this right. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I shall see you all for that.